by that order, debenture interest is paid, preference dividend is paid, then equity dividend is paid. What happens in some years of bumper profits is there is still some profit left. There is still quite a bit of surplus left. If the preference shareholders are eligible to get that, then they are called participating preference shares. So participating preference shareholders participate in what? In surplus profits after payment of equity dividends too. Impossible. Let me tell you, practically this doesn't happen. The board of directors will never leave it to such a situation. If there is so much of surplus, they will definitely transfer to reserves. And it might be a one-off case. In a span of about 7 or 10 years. This doesn't happen every year. But if the shares, preference shares issued by a company are of the participating nature, they will be entitled to any profits appropriated as decided in the opinion of the board of directors after the payment of equity dividends. If there is such a surplus, normally what happens is the board of directors will either raise the equity dividend or they decide to transfer to reserves and then give out these two dividends. So this is paradise. We are talking of a world that doesn't exist. The surplus profits distributed as dividends to a participating preference shareholder. It usually doesn't happen. But if it does, if the preference shares have that characteristic, then it is called the participating. So here the word, that's why I said, the word participating is actually a misnomer. It's a wrong word to use. Participating tends to make people believe that you are participating in decision making. This is not participation in decision making. This is participation in profits, surplus profits or bumper profits, over and above the normal profits and abnormal profits. After paying equity dividend, they are entitled to it. Fictitious. Okay, anyway, write it down. It is only for theoretical importance. No company normally issues such preference shares. But if a company wants to give a bigger weightage to its preference shareholders than equity shareholders, because they are temporarily only with the company, it could happen. Very, very rare. Nevertheless, take it down. Participating preference share. Preference shares which are entitled. Preference shares which are entitled to a share in the profits. Preference shares which are entitled to profit or to a share of the profits in the form of dividends. In the form of dividends. After the payment of equity dividends. After the payment of equity dividends. Are called participating preference shares. Are called participating preference shares. Okay, so naturally, or by what is natural course, I have not touched upon the negatives. A preference share which doesn't have that characteristic is called a non-participating preference share. A preference share which is not convertible is non-convertible. A preference share which is not cumulative is non-cumulative. A preference share which is not redeemable, that's not possible. There are no irredeemable preference shares. But then you have a time period of 20 years, 30 years. So now, I blank out all these additional scripts that I made and I'm going to compare all of them. Can I have a preference share having all these characteristics? Is the next. What is the relationship between the four? All the four of them are different attributes. One talks about repayment, one talks about dividend accumulation, one talks about conversion to equity share, one talks of surplus profits after paying equity dividends. How do you read them together? How is their mutual exclusivity? That's what I'm going to ask. And I want you to follow this carefully. Unless specified otherwise, that is to say, by default, a preference share is redeemable or convertible and cumulative and non-participating. I repeat, unless specified otherwise in the share. Now, where is all this mentioned, by the way? ഒരു ഷെയർ ക്യുമുലേറ്റീവ് ആണ്, ഒരു ഷെയർ റിഡീമബിൾ ആണ്, ഒരു ഷെയർ കൺവേർട്ടിബിൾ ആണെന്നുള്ള എവിടെ നോക്കിയാലാണ് മനസ്സിലാവുക? ഷെയറിന്റെ തന്നെ ഉണ്ടാവും. That is why you need this kind of a description. The share certificates will contain the nature. Is it convertible? Is it non-convertible? Is it redeemable? Is it participating? Is it cumulative? All that will be there on the face of the share itself. The share certificate is a document which describes the share fully and completely and correctly. So, unless specified otherwise, that is, if it is not specified otherwise, the preference share issued by a company shall be redeemable or convertible. That has to be specified. Redeemable or convertible. ബാക്കിയുള്ളതൊന്നും പറഞ്ഞിട്ടില്ലെങ്കിൽ, that is, if the other features are not mentioned, it means that that preference share is cumulative and non-participating. So one of these two has to be mentioned. And remember, only one of them will be mentioned because they are mutually exclusive. So preference share issued by a company by default is redeemable, cumulative, non-participating, or convertible, cumulative, non-participating. What I mean to say is, if a company proposes to make the preference share non-cumulative, you have to specify it. If you want to make it participating, you have to specify it. So this example that I took, 10,006% redeemable preference shares of ₹100 each. Those preference shares are cumulative and they are non-participating. So either redeemable, cumulative, non-participating, or convertible, cumulative, non-participating. By default. This is the default condition prescribed under the Act. So if a company is issuing it exactly as per the Companies Act, it only mentions whether it is redeemable or convertible only. Follow? Make a note of that. Note, unless specified otherwise, unless specified otherwise. Okay, open brackets here. That is by default. That is by default. close brackets. Preference shares issued by a company preference shares issued by a company are redeemable stroke slash bar redeemable bar convertible comma cumulative and non-participating. Cumulative and non-participating. Okay, full stop. Therefore, if the preference shares issued by a company if the preference shares issued by a company are proposed to be non-cumulative or participating comma such feature shall be expressly shall be expressly specified very important aspect. How preference shares are set to default. Default is an information technology term. What are preference shares issued by a company by default? What are the features they carry per se, unless the company, so these are the shares you can issue. Out of them, which one are you issuing is important. Out of which participating and non-cumulative have to be specifically mentioned. It is not mentioned by default, it will be taken as redeemable or convertible, cumulative, non-participating. This is why I said participating preference shares are a figment of imagination. There are very few companies which issue those shares. Right, so that is the classification of the preference shares. Yeah, after the third year, when the cumulative nature lapses, yeah, it is lost. It lost forever. That was your question. After the third year, when the cumulative nature lapses, does the dividend again start to accumulate? Yes, if it is not paid. In case of losses in the fourth year. So, in the fourth year, you are eligible only for 1 year's dividend. That is Harshita's question I am answering. Her question is, after the third year, when the cumulative nature lapses, does the dividend again start to accumulate? In case of losses in the fourth year also. The issue is, after third year, in the fourth year, you have to start from scratch. So in the fourth year also dividend is not paid. It's only 1 year's accumulation. The first three are lost. Good question. Right. So with that question, we'll take a break. We'll take a small break. I'll be back in about 10 or 15 minutes. Just think over about these things. And then we move into what I'll be moving into next after you understand the two types of shares is the concept of accounting standards. Of course, I'm not taking up the accounting standards. The concept of Schedule 3, all those we are coming to next, that is the accounting aspects, corporate accounting legal aspects of shares. I'll come back.